Hello, I'm Vara,
And I'm Roxy.
and you're listening to VCR. How are you, Roxy?
I am pretty okay.
You're pretty okay, feeling
Pretty all right.
good, being
Pretty all
happy.
right.
It's been, I think it's been an interesting day for both me and
Yeah,
Roxy, and we've
yeah.
had way too much fun happening today, and I
Woo.
know she's enjoying a nice glass of wine, and I'm just here contemplating, stewing and festering in my own mind, that kind of fun stuff. But speaking of stewing and festering and pondering and worrying, and we here in the great state of Texas,
Texas, deep
Texas,
in the heart of Texas.
Texas, oh Texas, oh hail the mighty state. Not so
Oh,
mighty though when it turns cold though.
no, absolutely not. And we always get made fun of because, oh, you can't handle the cold. Maybe not, but you can't handle the heat.
You
So,
cannot handle the heat and you cannot handle hurricanes. Let me tell you that. I'll never forget when, like, and I'm not trying to be an ass about it, but we take on things like Harvey, Superstorm Harvey. You take on things like Cat 4s, and then New York gets that Storm Sandy, which was a Cat 1 hurricane with some snow. And they're completely brought to their knees.
say it like that.
It's true. They're completely brought to their knees and like, and yet we're over here and they're fucking, and they got the Rolling Stones and like Paul McCartney, all these people coming out to perform and raise money for them. But when we have shit happen down here in Texas, Willie Nelson, you got
Really,
Willie Nelson. That's all you need.
all we
That's
needed.
all we need is some Willie Nelson. And then we put our fucking boots on and we fucking take care of the rest because that's the way we roll. And when the summer comes, you play summer bingo to see how many people are going to die that summer just
No,
because of the heat in Texas. I
the
mean,
heat's
it's not a
crazy.
joke. So,
The heat is insane.
it's insane for it. But we are not a nation built for the cold. And me and Roxy were reminiscing about that because next week, so by the time you get this show, that the week of, we're supposed to be dropping into like some ridiculously cold
It's
shit
supposed to
for
hit
us.
like in the 20s. And I know for a
Yeah.
lot of especially the up northern states, like this is nothing.
I
But for
know. You
us,
wish it was
this is
20 over there.
crazy because
Yeah.
we don't get this kind of
It
cold.
doesn't that doesn't
We're not
happen down
equipped
here.
for that kind of cold.
We are not. We are not
I
designed
mean, I
for
got
it.
all the cushion for it, but I don't have the jackets.
Mm-mm. We don't have that, like goose down jackets don't make sense here because
No.
it's so hot year round. It may be several years before you ever use that jacket
And you're
because
only going to use it for a few days
yeah,
and
so
then
it
it's going to be
doesn't make
gone, like
sense
back in the
down
closet
here.
or in the
Yeah,
storage.
it doesn't make sense.
No,
But
but now I wish I had one.
yeah, but now that this is happening, yeah, we kind of wish we do have them. But we were going to experience that, and then it got us thinking about a few years back. So it's
Oh,
2024 now, and in the year of our Lord in 2021, we all thought we were gonna die in Texas. We
man,
and not
I
just that, but we were ready to kill people in Texas for
I
the
don't know,
issues we
man.
were
It was
going through.
crazy.
Like we
Shit.
were demanding some heads to roll, and they did, but unfortunately, it was just like a
Slap on the
little,
wrist.
yeah, basically. But what we're talking about, so this week, it's not really a weather type of thing, but me and Roxy are going to reminisce about uh, the freeze of 2021. And the thing that made the freeze so bad down here in Texas is like our power grid went out. So
Mm-hmm.
the whole state went out because the thing is, it's not like other states where y'all might share grids and then you have joint states who maintain a grid. Texas was always famous for being on its own grid and didn't
Mm-hmm.
rely on other states, didn't rely on other parts of the nation or things like that. So Texas was famous for decades for its own power source. And the thing is, no one regulated that in the sense of like who's monitoring the upkeep for
Hmm.
the power grid. And then they got sloppy and they weren't upkeeping it. And then in 2021 is when we all figured out no one's upkeeping this. So when this massive freeze came in and then the power went out, oh my God, you talk about survival of the fittest type of
And
situation.
ooh.
Oh man, it was bad. So Roxy, I remember it fondly for a couple of reasons. Actually, I had a lot of weird things happening during that storm, but
Hmm.
set me up. What was going on for you during the power grid failure, and did you do anything to prep before the cold came, or what was going on for you?
So I did go get like a few things, just like food and stuff, a little bit of water, just some stuff to get through. I didn't really think I was going to lose power. I was like, oh, we'll be fine because, I've never really lost power any other time. So I was like, it's fine. I've made it through several, like a couple, I'm not going to say several, but I've made it through some. I made it through Harvey. I made it through another flood. Like I
Mhm.
made it through all these things without losing power, all
Yeah,
these storms without losing power. So I was like, oh, this will be fine. No
things
problem.
that we're used to going through now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just got the normal provisions to get me through like at least a couple of weeks, right? I lost power. I think my power was in and out the first day. I think it was maybe the second day where it was like gone,
Mhm.
completely gone. And I was like, shit, what am I gonna do? It's fucking freezing.
Mhm.
Like I don't have any heat. It's me and Gizmo, just Gizmo at the time. So my ex, he actually came and got me. And he I'm gonna leave that part of the story out.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't want to get him in any trouble. But
Mhm.
he came and got me from my house and he was like, you like he didn't want me to be by myself in the apartment. He was like, no, I don't feel comfortable you being here. So come with me. So he took me over to where he was at and we just went to his mom's and because his mom was by herself. So like we went over to his mom's house and he did everything. Like if it wasn't for him, I don't know if I would have gotten through it, to be honest. Like he took care of everything. He did all the cooking. He lit all the fires. He warmed up all the water. Like he did everything. And it was him and Crown Vanilla that got me. And let me just say this, you guys. Crown Vanilla with cherry Coke tastes amazing. Cherry Vanilla Coke.
Hmm. That sounds delish. So for me, I had a lot. I remember the day before the storm, there's a few things going. Actually, so the reason I remember it so vividly is Valentine's had just passed.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I was seeing someone back then, and we went out for dinner and all this other good stuff, and we are talking about the storm, and we are kind of downplaying it in our heads, right? But the thing is, me being a prepper, I always have stuff.
Right.
So even if I had to do, I'm already good to go. But I remember she wasn't. So part of her Valentine's gifts were I made her a little emergency kit.
I'm sorry. Did you say Valentine's?
Valentine's gift.
Okay, I thought you said times. I was like, no, sir.
No, no.
Okay, continue.
So, what ends up happening is, I made her as part of her gift, not the main gift, but part of it. I made her an emergency kit, and it
Oh,
came with a
that's cute.
flashlight and a lantern, and it came with, what else? I had put other things in there too, like an emergency knife situation, and
Uh-huh.
so just things that you would need in
Right.
the event that something happened. And so I went home that day after our little Valentine's thing was over, went home and I saw my dad and my nephew out there prepping in the yard and they're covering up the bottoms of the house because the houses are elevated. So they have to
Right.
cover it so the pipes don't freeze. So I went over there to see if I could help. Now, my mom had went off and got this dog from the neighbor that she was kind of trying out that she was just all in love with, right? But this dog was not in love with me. So I'll never
I
forget.
mean, I don't blame it.
Yeah, I get. Yeah. So I'm going over there to my parents' house, and I'm in my dad's yard seeing if I can help them. And the dog runs up to me and he jumps up on me and he's on my chest, right?
Right.
And I was like, no. And I didn't touch the dog or anything. I just said no. And so he starts sliding down to my left side. And because I figured he was just getting off of me, all of a
Right.
sudden latches onto my arm and starts to maul me. Like he tore my arm up. I still have a
Oh,
scar,
damn.
but like he like ripped off the skin, and I was wearing like a uh a sweat
A Bonaventure shirt?
no no a sweatshirt, like one of the kind of pullover ones. I was wearing one of those, and that dog managed to get through it. It was pretty crazy.
Dang.
So it was bad. I ended up having to go to, the hospital and they wrapped me up and all this other stuff.
You have to get like a rabies shot.
No, actually, so that's an interesting thing. There hasn't been an issue with rabies in Houston
Hmm.
for a few decades. They're like
Nice.
people like genuinely, there's so much more water available for dogs and cats that it's rare that they have to do things like rabies shots. But I had to go through all that because it gnawed me up pretty bad. So here I am injured and the storm's coming. And so I'm just wrapped up. I'm in a lot of pain. And And what ends up happening is like, when the storm hits and then the power starts going out, everything's freezing. I kid you not, like, so in my bed, because I can't really move, I'm injured,
Hmm.
so I'm laying under all my covers and I had like tons of covers on top of me. And then Brutus, my English Mastiff, was in the bed with me and we're just keeping each other warm because it just was not. I mean, we didn't move. We didn't move. It was so fucking cold. But other problems started to happen too. Like people were calling me because they're out of like so the ex who I was with, who I made her that kit, she called me. She's like, the power's out, it's freezing. I turn on your little light. So I was like, yay, my light stuff worked. But like it was getting really bad, so she had to go to a friend's house
Hmm.
because she couldn't survive it on her own, and she
Hmm.
had lived like way out in Clear Lake, so I couldn't like go get her because all the roads were iced over,
Yeah.
and so that was a problem. And then I had another friend of mine, her pipes burst in the attic. And
Ooh.
so the water was coming down. She didn't know how to turn it off. So I was trying to explain to her how to turn it off. She's like, can you come help me? Now she lives out in Katy. So there's no way I was going to be
Girl.
able to make that. But I was like, you're going to have to do this because you have to remember, I'm injured. I can't go do it.
Right.
You
If
know,
there's ice on the road, girl, we can't drive.
And oh my God, so it got so bad. Now, so you went somewhere and you got warmed up and you were okay,
Yeah.
right?
Well, like I took like yeah, I all the provisions that I had bought for myself, I took with me over
Mhm.
there.
See, so my issue here was like, of course, the power was out because all of Texas was out.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so at some point, when the power was out, my central heating wasn't working. So like
Hmm.
all my heat was gone. And here I am all fucking, like I said, I'm injured and shit, right?
Hmm.
I can't use my left arm. But at some point I said, I have to do something. Because if not, me and this dog are gonna freeze to death. And I shit you not. So my grandfather has been dead for a few decades now.
Hmm.
And his house still stands. And I was like, okay, we're gonna do this. I went into my grandfather's house and I pulled the heater out, the gas heater out of the fireplace. I was like, I hate to do it, but you do not need this anymore. Like,
Right.
there's no one living there. So I took the heater and I get it back to my house. And the thing is, the connection is different between how old that heater was to the newer connections. So I was like, damn it. So here I am in my car trying to find a hardware store. I went to 5 hardware stores. Oddly, a Home Depot was open and had a guy there who knew how to work the gas stuff. And I was like, this is a picture of what I got, blah, blah, blah. He's like, you're gonna need this, 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 and this. Sure enough, he was right. I hooked it up. I lived.
I survived.
I turned on that heater and like I had to redo it a few times and put up more Teflon tape on it because there's a few times where I saw bubbling coming out the pipe. I was like, damn it, there's a leak. I can't use it if there's a leak. But I got that thing going and oh my
Mhm.
God, I was grateful because
No,
that
for
was
real.
like, oh, it was horrible. It
Oh,
was.
it's so funny too. Like my friend Lauren,
Mhm.
she had actually made, she was like, I think the night before the storm actually like hit and power went out, she made a pot pie. She made 2 pot pies. And so like she had made one for me too. And so
Oh.
like I had that and I took that with me over there to his house, so to his mom's. And we actually warmed it up on the barbecue pit, one of the fires that he lit
Mhm.
outside for us to stay warm. We put it on the pit and cooked it. We warmed it up on the pit, ate
Damn
that
right.
baby. It was so good. We were cold, like we got warm and we ate. We were just sitting out there next to the fire,
Hmm.
like trying to make it. It was crazy.
It was
It
so
was like the worst camping experience of my life. I
yeah.
hated it. I hated
Ev
every minute of it.
Everything felt like it was third world nation.
I
You know, it was like the power was out, the water was barely trickling because,
no,
the pipes were freezing and everything. And
yeah.
I was like,
He
what
had
the
to warm
hell?
the he had to warm the water up like on the barbecue pit.
Hmm. Hmm.
He was warming the he did all the warming of the water and I so sweet. He even gave me a bath because I was freezing like a little like I was trembling.
Oh,
I couldn't bathe myself. So like he bathed me and like rinsed me off and everything. And I was just like, oh my God. Like nobody would do this for me, you know?
see, for me, what ended up happening now, I have a gas stove, right?
Mhm.
So that was useful because even though the igniter was electric, I'd turn the gas on and light it with a lighter, and then boom, I
Right.
have, you know, a stove, a working stove. But here I am, like boiling water so I can go sponge myself down.
Yeah.
And like this is just horrible. And you're freezing because even though the water's hot, it's
It's
cold.
cold.
You see your breath coming out of your
You're
mouth just
you're
trying to.
warm for like the few seconds that it
Mhm.
runs down your body, and as
Yeah,
soon as it's gone, you're freezing. Like I was like, no, this is the worst.
exactly.
That's
You have
why he had to bathe me, is because I couldn't. I was just like just shaking. I was just stuck and shaking.
It was like
Yeah.
wet lather rinse done because you were just, and then you ran back into. I stood by that heater for so long, just and Brutus did too. Like he laid out in front of the heater, and then we'd go back into the bed, and then I'd point the heater to the bed because I was like, you know
There
what?
was no heater. It was just blankets.
Hmm. Well,
Blankets. The only heat we had was the fire outside. So we wouldn't sat by the fire. Other than that, we drank and buried ourselves under blankets.
oh,
That was the
I
only
don't
way that
blame
we
you.
could stay warm was drinking and blankets.
If it was not for Brutus and
Body
me,
heat.
if it was not for Brutus and me breaking into my grandfather's house so I can steal a heater, oh, you know what really pissed me off, Roxy? Okay,
Mm,
fucking I have a garage apartment in my back. You've seen my garage apartment, right?
yeah.
So the thing is, when I'm there, I freaked out because when I went to the garage apartment because I could hear water, I was like, oh crap, the pipes burst. And then I
Right.
realized, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. The pipes weren't dripping. I was like, they weren't broken anywhere. I was like, what? What is happening? I don't understand what's happening. So, I went upstairs to see what was going on. And what it
Hmm.
was, the water in the drain had froze. So the water that was left to drip was overflowing and then flowing down the I was like,
Oh,
oh fuck. But I
huh.
was glad it was that and it wasn't like burst pipes. But
Yeah.
when I
Ooh.
was searching through all the mess I have in my garage to see like what's happening, where's it coming from? Do you know what I found?
What?
A gas heater that I forgot about. That was in my garage.
I'm mad at you for you.
Yeah, I was like, mm, mm.
I know, man. I'm so worried about next. Like, I am so traumatized from that storm. Like,
Yeah,
they
it
say
was.
that the temperatures are dropping. I freak out. I'm like, oh shit. I
I
need
was
to get
like,
a heater. I need to get an indoor safe heater. I need to get a generator. I need to get this. Like,
you need extra blankies. You
I
need
I have to I have a ton of blankets. I get a new blanket every Christmas and I
mhm.
I welcome them. I love
I
them.
have so many throw blankets too. It's
And I
like,
have, I got a couple of them big Mexican blankies.
yep, I have those too. I
Mm-hmm.
have like some thick comforters and thick blankets. And then of course, everyone buys like gives me like throw blankets that are like some of them are for full size, some of them are just like
Right.
yourself, but you have no idea how useful they are until shit like this happens, and
Shit.
you're tucking those things in
I got
everywhere.
that. I got that thick ass robe my dad gave me
Hmm.
for Valentine's Day for Christmas one year. He got my mom and I like the same thick ass robe. Man, that robe got me through 2021. I had that picture. I have a picture of me and Gizmo. Like I have the hoodie, I have the beanie on, and I have the robe on, and that Gizmo's little head is popping out like right here because he's in the robe with me. It was so cold. I was like, "Baby, get in here. I need to keep you warm."
There was okay, so this was such a trip. And it came in so useful too. The ex who I was with, Valentine's. So she had bought me this Valentine's gift, and I thought it was. At first I was like, eh, but then oh my God, that thing was a fucking lifesaver. She had bought me like this Nartica beanie, and
Uh-huh.
it was a red beanie, and it had a matching red scarf. I was like, when the hell am I ever going to use a scarf in
When
Texas?
it freezes.
Oh my God,
When
I
it
used
freezes,
the
you use
shit
it.
out of it. That I was like, I stayed in it. I was wrapped in it at
Hmm.
all times.
Yep.
Didn't have any
I
idea
mean, it
how
was like
useful a
layers
scarf
on
was.
layers on
Oh
layers.
my
Like
God.
I was
I,
layered up.
I was layered, and I'm kind of ready for it too this year because now I have three additional heaters to my Brutus. I have my other dogs.
Yes. Well,
I'm
I
gonna,
have one additional heater,
yeah, so it's
but then
like
I need to get like an indoor safe propane heater.
yes, no, seriously, that is something you should consider. Like the small little propane canisters
Yeah.
with the heater on it.
Yeah.
Definitely go buy like two or three of those just in
Yep.
case,
I
because
already thinking
it's
about that.
yeah, you're going to need because I mean, what good is the electric heater? I found that out real
And
hard
it
way.
has no use.
To this day, no joke, I still have that heater in my bedroom. I have never taken it apart because
I
it's like
wouldn't. You
just in
never know when you're
case.
gonna need it.
Yep, and maybe next week.
If
Uh,
the roads don't freeze, man,
mhm.
you might head over there.
Exactly. And then so one thing I might do, and I might talk to them about this weekend because I got some people coming out to do some work. There is because my house is a very older house. You've seen my house.
Hmm.
It was built in the 40s. And they have a gas heater that's built into the wall of the bathroom. I was
Yeah, I
like,
remember those.
huh. So, but it's disconnected, but it just needs a pipe.
Yeah, reconnect that hole.
I'm serious. The pipe is still there, so they would just need to move that pipe add on the pipe back to the heater, and boom, then I have another heater, and
You better
I
do
would
it.
so value that,
You would better do it. Can
Yep.
you imagine getting out the shower and it being nice and toasty?
Oh my God. Well,
Instead
actually,
of
so
freezing
the
your balls out when you get out.
oh my God, that'd be so great. I mean, especially if next week is that bad. It's like,
Man.
yep.
Then you can just take the puppies and cuddle up in there. The heat will stay like,
I don't have to because I got the heater in my bedroom too.
oh
So it's like
yeah.
I have the gas heater there and the gas heater there.
You just be
I should
warm.
survive
That little
anything. Like
section of the house will be nice and toasty.
hell yes. And I think I'm gonna I must see what would happen like if there's another gas connection I can install to like hook up something else. Or I'm not joking. With everything that happened, I would seriously consider putting in a wood burning stove in my
Mm-hmm.
fucking
You
living room
should. I would
because
definitely think about that.
oh my God, A, those are useful, and B,
Mm-hmm.
granted, may never really use it, but when you need
But when
it,
you need it,
yeah.
it will
That's
be
for
there.
sure. A little pot belly stove or like one of the
You
smaller,
know?
longer gated ones. I'd definitely get one of
Mm-hmm.
those. Just put the little exhaust pipe going out. So I might just do that. That may be the best thing to do.
Right?
hmm And then you can also cook on it too in the event that
Yes,
that
you can.
happens. Because
Yep.
when I used to go hunting, we had one of those out in the cabin, and like you could heat up water, cook a little something on there if you needed to. They were the greatest things. They
Mm-hmm.
really were. Like totally loved it.
Think
But
it'd be a nice addition.
it would. I think it's something I'm gonna go through. So anything that you're going to buy to prep for next week in the event that anything weird happens.
I really am gonna get one of those propane heaters, the
hmm
indoor heaters. I really want to get one of those. I've also been looking at solar panel like generated generators.
hmm Oh yeah, the little
I do
charging
need one of
station
those just in
ones.
case.
Yeah.
And then of course, the water, the food, all that stuff. Like,
Yep. I am definitely going to go get some extra waters. And then I am going to definitely invest in it. Well, I already have the heater, so I'm not going to be too
I
worried
know I
about
definitely
that.
need a
But
heater.
if I learned anything from last time, well, actually, I was pretty okay. Lights, the stove, all that good stuff.
hmm
I think some of my other survival skills have kicked in because I couldn't make coffee during that entire time, and I was like, "This
Dying, right? Like,
fucking time, I need coffee." But in my mind, I wasn't thinking because I was just in survival mode. I was like,
right.
I could have just poured the hot water through the
The filter,
filter and made
right?
coffee that way. I just wasn't thinking. But now I have a pour over coffee
Oh,
maker.
see, there you go. Good to go.
Yep,
Good to
good
go.
to go. Spread it out, drink it, that way don't freeze to death because oh my God, that was
The
horrible.
worst. Oh my God. I don't
So
want to do it again.
no, no, absolutely. I don't want to go through that nightmare again either. And but
Mm-mm.
I'm curious, any of our friends out there in listener land, like, if you're on the East Coast or if you're in other parts of like Europe where it gets cold like that, what exactly do you do? Because I know it's our
You do.
version of this isn't a big deal, but like what do you do to prep for something like that? Because I know there are places in the US where like they practice the art of preserving food, like
Yes.
canning
Oh my
is
God, I need to
because
learn how to do that.
yeah, because like come wintertime, it may be difficult to go to a store, so you have
Mm-hmm.
preserves downstairs in the basement because they have
Yep.
basements over there.
We
We
don't
don't
have
have that
basement.
here. Yeah, we don't have basements here in Texas because we're under sea level type of thing.
Yep, we can't have them.
So yeah, that's kind of an issue, but it would be interesting to know what do y'all do and how do
Right.
y'all do it? Because canning may be a good idea, and
Oh,
learning how to
hell yeah. That's
preserve a
definitely a good
few
idea.
things. Yeah, I mean that would definitely be worthwhile to learn,
Mm-hmm.
especially when stuff like this happens.
Hell yeah.
Because it will happen
That's a
again eventually.
definite good skill.
Yeah, it may not happen now, but it's at some point some freak storm is going to come in and freeze things out, or we're going to have another hurricane at some point, and
Something's gonna happen.
we'll need all that stuff.
Yep,
So skills, there's skills to be had.
definitely.
Mhm. And I do a lot of gardening, so it's like I mostly do herbs, but like some of the stuff I grow, I really need to like learn to preserve them better because I just eat
Mm-hmm.
them immediately. But like to preserve them throughout the year wouldn't be a bad idea either.
Right.
So, huh. But
Hmm.
yeah, definitely gonna.
Some things to think about.
I might go out and buy me another thicky blanket just to have
Just to
another
have
one
one.
just
You
in
can never have
case.
too many.
Oh God. You know what? Really like sleeping bags are the best. I don't care because you can unfold them and like just use them
Oh
as
yeah.
and those things are so well insulated. It's like perfect to like just put on top. I may go
hmm
out and buy me another a sleeping bag just to make sure.
Right. double
Because,
it up.
yep, between that and the heater, I should be
Should be
completely
good. You should be good.
should be. I hope to be like, but
Fingers
yeah, it's not
crossed.
something I'm looking forward to because
I'm not.
that's really bad.
I'm very traumatized from the last one.
Yeah, I mean, between the dog attack,
All right. Oh my God. Yeah, you
having
had it
to
way worse than I did.
do an
Well, I don't know about
impromptu
that. You had a
heater.
heater. I didn't.
Yeah, well, it was an impromptu heater. It took five.
Well, nevertheless, it was a heater.
Yeah. And I was surprised my car started. I really was, because people's cars were not starting because
Oh
they were
yeah.
frozen. So, but
Mm-hmm.
mine started, and luckily I was able to get to it. I felt so bad for this one girl there at Home Depot, because she was looking for a part.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're all scrambling to try to find somebody. And part of me said to help her. But the other thing is, if I helped her, I wouldn't have gotten the help that I need. But I felt really bad for her because she was there and she was pregnant. And it was
Oh.
very visible that she was pregnant and out trying to find this part. And, it was, what do I need to make my heater work? And she was just kind of like all over the place trying to find somebody. And luckily I found someone who could help me.
Mm-hmm.
But it really was that horrible situation, and I felt bad because, like I said, she was pregnant. It was very obvious she was pregnant and out
Mm-hmm.
there by herself. And I was like, where's your husband or your boyfriend or anyone, the person who put you in this position? Why
Oh,
aren't they here taking care of you and getting you this part, But I'm glad I'm did,
I
and
understand.
I'm glad it didn't help because I probably would have ended up being like a dad of some sort.
Oh, you're such a dick. You are such a dick. Oh.
Not, no, just a good person.
Such a dick.
Such a good person.
Such a dick.
You, how are you calling me a digger? You had an ex who came save you. Why can't I save the pregnant woman?
You could have saved her, but you didn't.
I did not. I made a choice
Right. So such a dick.
because Brutus was at home and he needed me.
Right.
And my baby going to die if I don't get home. I gotta go protect my
Right.
babies. But yeah,
Baby. He was only baby at the
yeah, he
time.
was the only baby
Baby.
at the time. Now I got babies. So
Right.
these
Now you are a baby daddy.
poor monsters over here that I got. Oh. And this little demon right here. So she loves heat. So anytime I'm in my bed, whether it's summer, winter, whatever, like she burrows under the
Yeah,
blankets and then
that's
under
good.
me, and it's like, stop
Yeah.
it.
I'm like, get off of me. You're so hot.
So like every other night she's super annoying, but come that winter, I was like,
You're
yeah,
like, get over here. Keep me
we're like,
warm.
cuddle with me. You go and cuddle.
Right.
I love you so much. Mm.
Right.
Oh God, I can only imagine how
That's
horrible this
funny.
will be. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens next week. This is
Hopefully it's not that bad. Hopefully
hopefully not.
it's good. Hopefully we get through
But
it.
this means that we got to start wrapping all the pipes again and everything
Hmm.
else. Oh my goodness.
I already brought my plants in. I was like, nope,
I'm gonna
I'm
have to
getting
go
y'all
buy
inside.
some more uh pipe wrapping because
Hmm.
they had to change one of my pipes last week. So I
Hmm.
was like, that part's exposed. So, in the event that you'd like to share your Winter Wonderland tales with us, please do so at the VCR Show at gmail.com, or our social media is the VCR Show, and our YouTube channel, the VCR Show, and our website, thevcrshow.com. And you can always hit up the fabulous Miss Roxy on her socials, which are, if you want
If
to
you
keep
want
her
to save
warm,
me this winter storm,
if you want to
on
keep her
Facebook
warm.
at Roxy Perez Curvy Model, on Instagram at PopRox428, and on TikTok at Thepoproxx. And PopRox is spelled Poproxx.
And as always, I'm Vara,
And I'm Roxy.
and you've been listening to VCR.
Bye.
Bye. You can warm her up.
Yes, I'm gonna be cold.
So cold. You need to be toasty.
Gotta keep me toasted.
You have been listening to VCR, creative content by Richard Christopher Vara and Roxy Perez. Logo by Richard Christopher Vara with assistance from Annie Ramirez. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach us at thevcrshow@gmail.com or our social medias at Instagram and Twitter at the VCR Show. And you can also check out our content at thevcrshow.com. The show song is Attic by Nefex, instrumental, and you can find them on YouTube Music Library.